Hey, can everyone see my screen now? Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's Zoom. Again, my name is Sasha Johnson. Some of you would have already known me. I'm also a member of the ELC of TTIP. I'm in charge of activism and mobilising in that arena. Tonight's agenda. Sorry, let me just click everything up. So tonight's agenda, so currently as TTIP, we're trying to get more involved in our community. We're trying to see the things that people want to hear about and want to know about so they could be involved in a party as well. So tonight we brought a guest speaker, Jason Barrett, along to give a talk about business and how business has gone for himself and how basically yourself could get involved in that structure. We're also looking for volunteers and supporters. Do get in touch with Amina. Her email address will come up along as we go along the slides. Amina's the PA. She's going to be the one that you'll be emailing your information to in which and any way that you can support. We're looking for people to volunteer to do leafleting as we're looking to start that very soon. We're also looking for supporters to spread the word about some of the stuff that we're doing, whether that is a Zoom or just getting people signed up for council's position or putting the information out where you can find out what we're doing. Jason there's a networking. And tonight we also wanted TTIP believes in business and entrepreneurship. And at the beginning of each Zoom, we want to give the opportunity. As you can tell, I'm still nervous because I'm very new to this still. So we're giving each person, 3 people, the opportunity to pitch their business and promote their business. So if anybody on here would like to pitch and promote their business, if you would please raise your hand, as we believe in entrepreneurship as the way forward, as building on our economic stability in the Black community, as well as the working class community. Annette, I'm going to ask you to unmute. I've asked you to unmute. Hello, Annette.
Hi, how you doing?
We can't hear you properly. If you could come closer to your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very good evening. Yes. You want me to pitch my business now?
Yeah, if you tell us what your business is, when did you launch, what do you do, just a little bit about your business. You've got 3 minutes.
Oh dear. Okay, well that was quite quick. My name is Annette Gavin. I operate a home-based catering business. I launched my business during COVID, the last lockdown, when being an entrepreneur sitting at home, I don't know where to turn because, as you know, the world is on the lockdown and things seems to be so different. I decided to start a home-based kitchen serving my friends and family. It went extremely well in the last lockdown, and this lockdown was kind of up and down, as you know. More persons are at home and they're cooking their own food, so wasn't as busy as should be. So I decided to tap into healthy products and talk to my friends and family about doing healthy skincare at home, looking after your skin, because the first thing everybody see when they see you is your face. Why shouldn't your face look energized and happy, even though you're going through a rough time? So I launched my CMOS coffee scrub, and all my friends are excited about it. And here we are now. I am doing my CMOS juices. I am doing a CMOS soap, and I'm going to be doing a CMOS and aloe vera drink very soon.
How could people get in touch with you?
My number is 0798 5522442. And my email is, I could put it there, but
you put it in the chat also, so those who missed it could get it.
Yes, so my email is jobforme48@gmail.com. I will put that in the chat as well. So
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Annette.
Yeah.
And keep going. Jason might have some pointers in there for you, so stick around to hear what he's saying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ursula, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Hello, Ursula, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. Let me just put my timer on so I stick within the 3 minutes. I hate going over time. I find it so rude.
Thank you, darling.
I'm Ursula. I'm the managing director and founder of Adira, which is as of today, an award-winning survivor-led mental health and wellbeing service that supports Black people with mental health issues. As you know, we don't deal well with mental health issues in the Black community. We don't believe it exists, but yet still we are overpopulating the mental health wards. So 2 of the projects within my CIC, my community interest company, that I want to speak about today is the one we launched last year during lockdown. The biggest complaint we got was from our Black service users who said, Ursula, my hair is breaking. Ursula, my hair is falling out. I can't get hold of the barber or the hairstylist. They've got their own problems. When the lockdown was lifted, the problem then became, yes, but now I don't have money because my partner died, my husband died, wife died. They were the main breadwinner. So we then launched a Black hair care project to give Black people with mental health issues the opportunity to get their hair done for free. We found funding to launch that project. We launched it here in Sheffield. It's turned into a little monster. It's grown. We've had calls from other cities asking us, can you come and launch this? We don't have this here. Also, we are in the process of getting a contract with Sheffield Health and Social Care to do the hair of all the Black people in all the psychiatric wards in Sheffield, the care homes, the foster care team. So we would like funding or money or a financial injection to be able to launch this project in other cities. The other project we're doing this year, hoping to launch this year, is our Adira Centre of Black Excellence, which will be a COBE for short. It's a one-stop shop for the Black community. It's a giant pill because you can't go head on with the Black community and mental health. It has to be carrot and donkey with the Black community, but you've got to have the right carrot to catch them. So it will have a walk-in mental health centre that will be open from 5 p.m. in the evening till 2 a.m. in the morning. It will have a dance studio, an art studio, a music studio, a community garden, a community kitchen, a Saturday school, a Black archive library that will also have a human library 1 day a month. You get to book out a Black person, download all their information, put them back in till next month. And it basically is a place where a Black person will walk in and say, listen, Ursula, my husband, I get on my nerve, but me no want somebody because I'm not I'm not mad, but I love cooking. Okay, second floor. Somebody else will walk in and say, Ursula, my parents are trying to force me to go uni, but I want to do music. Okay, basement. While they're in these spaces, they'll be cooking up that jerk chicken and yap, and pouring their pain into these
culture.
And they won't know that the people who are running these spaces are mental health trained. So when they're ready to say, right, I'm now ready to talk about divorcing my husband or the problems in my marriage, on the 3rd floor, we will have an entire floor dedicated to just Black therapists. We will also have a Black advocacy suite for our young Black students. We will have a Black doctor. We will have a Black CAB worker. It will be a Black giant pill for the Black community, and it's a non-medical approach to mental health issues. So what we're basically looking for, long and short of it, is give me money. I need money to get this off the ground.
Well done. I hope you get those donations. Where can people donate? Where can people find you to donate? How can people get in contact with you?
I will put our website in the chat and my number and my email as well in the chat.
Keep the good work going, Ursula. I would speak to you after this soon so I can see what I can do to help, but keep that good work going.
Thank you.
Teresa, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hi.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you well.
Excellent. So I'll go straight in. I'm the creator of a project called Take 3 Chefs. And the reason it was created, and it's created in the lockdown, was because I, as a grandmother, realized we had some fantastic traditions and we were losing them. We were losing the transferable skills of cooking. So I chose 3 very experienced, very talented, very motivated chefs to join me and a gentleman who is a film producer to join me to create Take Three Chefs, the project. And our aim is to put Caribbean food on the tip of people's tongue when they think about healthy food that heals. In this pandemic time, we have a real problem with people not knowing how to cook from scratch, not knowing how to combine spices and traditional ways to make a dish tasty but healthy. So we've set the target of bringing back the tradition of fresh cooking all the way from Africa and the Caribbean with all the fusion of spices and seasonings that we use. And we've tasked ourselves with turning every dish into a healthy version, because some of our food can be a little bit on the oily side and stuff like that, and overcooking of the vegetables. The other thing that we're doing is that we're rolling out the tradition of Caribbean itself, the culture, and what that interpersonal skills of families spending time together around the dining table, cooking in the kitchen, grandma showing a child how to prepare food. In the time where people say they're busy, one of the things that's been lost is the conversations in the home. We have a generation of teenagers who actually don't know how to go in the kitchen and prepare anything, but they actually are not all having conversations either. They're stuck in their separate worlds, in their rooms, and this is a fantastic way to get them out of their rooms and into the kitchen. And you can imagine, two teenagers in the kitchen with a parent or a grandparent, and so how do you cook that? Wow, that tasted good. I didn't know that went with that. And a conversation naturally can start. And then we would take them to the table. And this is another habit that we have in our community that we've lost, sitting around the table and having a family meal. Now, that means all the digital stuff will be turned off and people will actually get back to the gift of a family conversation. We have many, many ideas about how we can impact families, bring back tradition, elevate Caribbean cooking, and also how to bring our people back to understanding the skills that we have of nurturing through food in our community. These are just some of the goals. What we're trying to do also is to get some funding, because we want to do episodes so it's a lasting legacy. It's not just a quick, you were there on the day and then it's gone, too bad. We want to do a series so that we can build up skills, and we're hoping to get a generation of young people who want to become chefs. So we've got a program to help them to be trained to a professional standard like our chefs. Now, we have 90 years of experience, so can you imagine how much experience that is inside of our project? So our film is what we need the funding for. We need £15,000 initially just to get the series started. And then from there, we're rolling out phase 1, then phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. And part of one of the phases is also cooking and health and well-being and movement. So I'll just leave it there. But to say, if anybody wants to
get in touch with
us,
you,
help us, get in touch with us. It's takethreechefs.com. We have a fundraising page in our website. You can find it there. We also have an email address, info@takethreechefs. So takethreechefs.com is our website. Our campaign is a link inside of our website. And then you can send us an email, takethreechefs.com, info@takethreechefs.com. I'll put it in the chat. But we're also looking for people who want to get involved, who want to become members of what we're trying to create, so that we can bring them with us on our journey. We have Indian, we have Chinese, we have all different kinds of food. And we've got, people say to us all the time, you look so healthy, you look so young for your age. There's a reason why, because we eat fresh, healthy, naturally grown food. And that's a legacy that I'd like to support, to pass on to the next generation. So thank you very much. All the details will be in the chat.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I'm going to ask Marsh to unmute yourself.
I'm going to mute myself and I'm also going to put my camera.
Yes, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marshall, and I am the founder of www.seedmanagement.co.uk. And I will share the website details with all of you in the chat. The idea behind seed management was to really help individuals from our community to be able to protect and explore their ideas. As you're all probably aware of, our community has a long history of being the victim of idea is deaf, both here in Europe and also in Africa and Caribbean. People stealing our ideas, people stealing our creativity and making the most of it. So, same management, what we're trying to do, we're trying to help individuals and also SMEs, small businesses, to be able to not just protect the ideas and brands, but also to maximize the use they have of it. So, to be able to raise capital, to be able to exploit it to the full of its potential. One of the biggest issues when it comes to, of course, IP intellectual property is that sometimes when you want to exploit your ideas, you need to know the right people, you need to have the right entourage, you need to have the right connection to be able to take your idea to the next level. And coming from the background that we come from, sometimes that's something that we all like. Most of us, we didn't go to the best university. We don't have a network of people that are very wealthy or a network of big lawyers. So this is where actually our platform comes to be able to help anybody from our
Can you
heart.
speak up a bit more?
So yes, we helping our artists, our community of creative, our business, our entrepreneurs to be able to really take that idea to the next level. So that means being able to protect your idea, apply for trademark, register your copyright, and if so, patent it. Because of course, ideas are the cradle to every great innovation and great company. So if you're really able to really maximize the value of our ideas and innovation, then we can build bigger business and build a lot more wealth. So that's the idea behind seed management, and I will invite all of you to be able to join our website and find out more of you. And we're supporting people within our communities, particularly those that come from the creative side of things, such as artists, actors, musicians, and so much more. So long story short, that's what we do, and I hope you guys can find our work and project very of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Tendai, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. My name is Tendai Nduku. I'm a founder member of a group called Pan-African Innovations and Inventions, where I seek to help innovative and innovation ideas in African countries in the diaspora by helping them to create a better way of doing business intellectually. We provide them with intellectual property rights so as to protect their projects from theft. As our earlier speaker said about the theft of ideas, we protect them, we give them those grants to use the property rights. Also, our zeal is to reach out to the entire African continent and the diaspora. And the primary aim of the project is to have it made in Africa by Africans for local and global markets, thereby making a bit of living and in return lifting themselves out of poverty. Our project also work involves reaching out to various countries in Africa and also in diaspora. We are looking for £15,000 for the support. This will cover our initial cost of developing this project.
Where can people find you to get in touch with you?
I will provide the details on the chat.
Okay, thank you, Tendai.
Thank you so much for giving me the privilege.
You're most welcome. What I'm finding interesting is almost all of you have organizations that you're either trying to build on. So if you could get in touch and let us know if you're willing to do some work, and if you're not already registered members of TTIP, please do register with us. And the fundraising and stuff that you're doing, we'll be more than willing to help you to promote your ideas. Especially Teresa's idea is community orientated. So was the young lady before, Ursula's idea is community focused. So we would love to get behind ideas like that could give opportunity to young people in the community. So well done, ladies. That was fantastic. One more person. Is there anybody else that would like to tell us about their business? IBI Gambia, I'm going to ask you to unmute. You'll have to unmute.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Thank you for the opportunity. We are not an organization, rather we are a business, and we are dealing with superfood items, all towards the healing of the temple, but also we source our products from women organizations who we trained in Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau to add value to the crops that they usually produce. So in the form of moringa powder, moringa seed oil, baobab powder, baobab seed oil, but also we've got a new product that can really take care of those who are vegan and don't have the alternative to meat. For example, we have a cashew apple meat alternative, which can be used either as a form of chicken flavor or meat as a vegan. So it's much better than soya. And that's one of the innovative product that we are bringing to the market. We have a unit here in Swansea where we do the So thank you for the opportunity to present it. I'll drop my coordinates on the chat, but it's nenesuperfoods.com. Straight. It's very straightforward.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, brother.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry,
Sash, it's Amina. Sorry to interrupt. There's a lady named Nicole who's been trying to pitch her business, but she can't raise her digital hand, so just so you're aware.
Okay. Where is Nicole? I can't find her. While I look for Nicole, I'm going to unmute Medina and then I'm going to search for Nicole. Just so things could keep going while I look for Nicole. Medina? Can you unmute?
Yay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I know the struggle with this new unmuting thing. So I thought, let me hang in there for you.
Hi, I'm Medina King, founder of MK Kids Interiors, which is an interior design company for children. We've been running for the past, since 2013. And since then, we've been designing amazing spaces for children. So we started off in the residential sector, designing bedrooms, nurseries, playrooms, and now we design nurseries, daycare centres, and in the process of designing some kids clubs abroad. And I just wanted to share what we do. You can find us at MK Kids Interiors everywhere online. So that's our website, mkkidsinteriors.com, MK Kids Interiors on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Thank you so much, Medina.
Any questions, welcome as well.
We're going to do the question when Jason takes over for the presentation part. Then you guys will get to interact and questions and stuff will flow.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Take care.
Nicole, so sorry.
No,
so sorry.
I don't have the hand raising thing on here. I don't know why. Thanks, Amina, Amina for shouting me out. So yeah, my name's Nicole and I'm the founder of the initiative that is called Support Black Unite. And Support Black Unite aims to do three main things as three main objectives. And the first and foremost is to empower Black communities by putting out positive Black content that's sourced through history. Mainly, I do that through events. So I've just finished a series of workshop events for the community, and it was called Celebrating Community by Conversation. So it was a weekly discussion where we covered 6 topics that were aimed on black topics to empower the Black community. So we discussed Black wealth, Black identity. We discussed Windrush, Black purpose and creativity, and all them things. So we had I delivered a workshop on the Wednesday about Black history, and then we discussed it on the Friday. So we brought in people from the community who were actually doing active things in the community towards those things. So Windrush advocacy, or trying to build wealth in the Black community and things like that, and supporting Black-owned businesses. So that's going on to the second objective, which is supporting Black-owned businesses and putting Black-owned projects in the limelight and trying to get the community involved and empower the community to do what needs to be done so that we can move towards Black liberation. So I title myself as a Black liberation activist that wears many hats. I just do everything that I can so that we can move forward as a community and put in the onus. I know it's not our fault, but it's kind of our responsibility. So just empowering the community to, do the right thing and do for self. And the third and final one, which is not, I don't want to put too much energy into, but it's ally education. So it's trying to educate allies with their equality and diversity strategy and delivery. And all of that is birthed from a personal experience of mine with George Floyd. I was in a workplace, I was hit with a deafening silence, and obviously with my Black community there was outrage, people wanted change, and I was caught in the middle, and I felt like I had to pick a side. I'm pro-Black, always have been, and I just felt I couldn't exist in that environment, and I had to leave, and that's how Support Black Unite was birthed, and that's my pitch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sister. Continue to do the great work you're doing. I love everything you stand for. Anthony, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to present my business and for the work you're doing. My name is Anthony Charles, and I am a business coach. I work out of the London Borough of Haringey. Since the lockdown, I'm now online, so I'm going all over the place. I run a business magazine, so it's a business and lifestyle magazine. Our aim is to help people to make a transition from being employees to entrepreneurs. We do that by sharing their story with as many people as possible. I also have a radio show which I do on a Tuesday morning. I have an hour section where I invite people, entrepreneurs, business owners on to discuss their business, get their business out to a wider audience, and I provide a lot of free business advice. I'm fortunate to be partly funded by Haringey Council, so I'm able to give a lot of free business advice. Also, I run a workshop that helps people to put together their business plans. I think it's really important to have a business plan. So I start off by working group work, but then work one-on-one with individuals from the start of their business plan to the end. So if I can be of any help to anybody in any way, been doing this for a long time, I'm happy to help.
Well needed, well needed. There's someone else in the chat also made mention it is a well needed service. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? We've had some really good pictures tonight. I'm going to go back to sharing screen with you all. So just a reminder, if anybody is a member of the press, please do make yourself known to us. Food Larders will be every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we try our best to support the community and those who are mostly affected by the lockdown and unable to meet their basic needs in the lockdown. And however we can assist, sometimes that has been Food Larders, sometimes it's been support in other ways, haircuts for young people going back to school, and helping support the elderly. So if you can donate in any way possible, it doesn't have to be a large amount. Anything as good as £1 is good, but that's a really good service and it has helped people in the community. Membership So please remember, you could go to the website to go and sign up for membership. We do encourage people to do the membership, as this platform is more unique than Labour and Conservative and all those other parties. You get a chance to be a part of the meetings, have your views heard, and those views do get brought up in our main meetings. If your views are expressed in the ELC meetings, and we do take it as important as anything else that we have to consider. Local election councillors and steering group leaders. We haven't had many people come forward for the steering group leaders position. Please do come forward for that position. If you go onto the website and click on to get involved, then you will see what that position entails. Local elections councillors, if you're interested in being a councillor, just like I am nervous in doing this Zoom, you don't have to worry. There's going to be someone on hand to teach you all that you need to know and to help you to understand how you will fulfill the role and what you will need to know to fulfill the role. Community Heroes is still up on the website and is something that is still going. If you know anyone in your community that deserves to be acknowledged and deserves a reward and deserves notification for the work that they've done, so that the work that they've done can be amplified and that they can know that they're important to the community that they're involved in, please do go over to the website and put forward your nominations. We welcome push the point of view of our people. When we talk about that, a lot of people had vaccine hesitance, and we made sure that we did enough Zooms on that and brought the information that we had access to that was pro-vaccine and anti-vaccine. So we do stick to the views of our people. A lot of people come on here asking, what more can be done in our community? Like I said, if you sign up your memberships, we could do a lot more. Lack of contribution results in lack of outcome. And when I say lack of outcome, if you're not giving us your ideas, if you're not expressing those views and you're not writing to us, emailing us, we're not going to know what it is that's happening. So please, we're here to listen. We're here to try and make anything that we implement, any changes we can, and making them sustainable changes, so things that could be around for years and generations to come. So please do get in touch if there's any ideas that you have or any concerns that you would like our help with. Just a reminder about us going out to do flyering soon. I don't know if you've all heard of the government's announcement for the 8th of March. They're easing up on the lockdown restrictions. We're going to take advantage of that and go out and do some door-to-door flyering and looking to spread the word and getting a few people to sign up to TTIP, as that is the only opportunity we'll have to do that since we've been in lockdown for however long. Amina's email is just coming up onto the screen. So if you are interested in any of the positions I've mentioned, or you're interested in getting involved in a party in any way, or you want us to promote what you're doing, like Ursula and Teresa, to promote things like that you're doing to get the community involved and to help you gain memberships, you could always email Amina, and that is how you get in touch with her. Just your name, email, telephone number, your skill set. The skill set is important, so then we know what roles we can put you in or what you can do to help us or what we can do to help you. What you would like to assist TTIP with. Again, a reminder of the steering group and the local councillors' positions, that we're still looking to fill those positions. And finally, my nerves could be over and I could hand over to Jason. So introducing you all to Mr. Jason Barrett, Business and Networking. I'm just going to ask him to unmute. Sorry. Save me, Jason.
Did it work?
Can we hear? Can you speak a bit? Come closer to your microphone.
Try that. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Can't hear you too well.
Oh wow. How about now?
I can hear you a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. If you just let me know when you want me to skip to the next slide, but I'll hand over to you to make your introductions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. So I'm ready when you are. wondering if everyone can hear me. I'm not sure how we're working here. I hope you can just put it in the chat if you can. Very faint. I'm hearing very faint. Oh, and some can hear. All right, I'll try to speak up. I don't know if there's a volume control on this. We good? Or no? All right, I'm going to try and speak as close to my microphone as possible and see if that helps. Okay, so thank you guys, first of all, to taking the initiative party. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here. And thank you all as well to thinking outside of the box and stepping outside of their comfort zones. When I was kind of invited to come on and speak to you guys about entrepreneurship, it got me thinking. First of all, what is entrepreneurship? Because it's a word that we kind of bandy around all the time. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and it sounds good. And I guess the first things that pop to our mind when we talk about entrepreneurism or entrepreneurship is being rich. You know, we think about multi-millionaires. And when I was kind of looking up entrepreneurship, you know, then Steve Jobs' name came up and Bill Gates' names came up and all of these kind of guys and Elon Musk. And I then really kind of stripped it back onto what an entrepreneur is. And ultimately, an entrepreneur is somebody that comes up with an idea, comes up with a solution to solve a problem. It's just as simple as that. And yeah, it's nice to have all the trappings of the success that may go with that. But at its core, being an entrepreneur is about identifying a problem I know it's probably really quite boring, you know, when you really break it down to what it is actually being an entrepreneur. On my own journey, to kind of give you some background to myself, I'm a comic book producer, I'm a film director, and initially, one of the main issues, I think it's Les Brown that says, if the circumstances that you want do not exist, you create them. And for a long time, being in the media and watching the media and collecting comic books and watching films, I just wasn't happy on how Black people in particular were being portrayed in these areas. And so for me, it was really important that we control our narrative, we control our story, because what we often have, especially in the media, is people outside of us, outside of our culture, outside of our groups, controlling how we are seen to the wider community. I always use Luke Cage, the comic book character, as kind of an example. So here you have this character that was created by white people, created by Marvel Comics, and they had this guy with a big afro, wearing a tiara, in skin-tight leggings, a bright yellow shirt, walking around Harlem, punching people in the face and saying, "Sweet Christmas." And what you see there is that was somebody's idea on what we are like. Interestingly, all of the other heroes, Superman, Batman, all of these guys, Spider-Man, they do all of their heroism out of benevolence because it's the right thing to do. But Luke Cage, he's a hero for hire. So all these guys do it because it's the right thing to do. But the black guy, he does it because he wants to get some money out of it. And again, that's somebody else's control over our imagery and how we are seen. And so for me, getting into the comic book side of things was I wasn't happy in the way that we were being portrayed. Most of the black superheroes are basically step and fetch'ems. You know, you look at guys like War Machine. He's sort of the sidekick to Iron Man. You know, you look at guys like the Falcon. He's the sidekick to Captain America. Basically a glorified butler. So again, these are black superhero characters that were created by somebody outside of our culture, and they are dictating how the larger society sees us. Same thing with the film business. You know, most of the predominantly black casted films, especially in Black Britain, have always got a gangster undertone. Have always got, it's always about stabbing and shooting and so on and so forth. And so when I made a film, I made a film called The Naked Poet. All the way back in 2010, we made that feature film, which is now available on Amazon. But when we made that film, I didn't want to deal with. I didn't want to see any guns, and I didn't want to see any knives, and I didn't want that element because, again, that is not Black culture, but that's what's portrayed as Black culture. And interestingly enough, if you continue to tell those stories, we start believing that. We start seeing that as Black culture ourselves. So you've got somebody outside of our culture, because most of those productions are made by the white corporate machine about us. They're feeding it to us, and then we start believing those lies. We start believing the lies about ourselves. And so for me, it was about identifying something and then solving. You look at something like Brer Rabbit. That originated with Brer Hare, which is a Ghanaian story, and then it turned into Brer Rabbit, and then from there turned into Bugs Bunny, yeah, and become, Warner Brothers, massively successful, but started with us. So many of the imagery that we see now that have been reworked, that have been recolored, that have been recultured, are actually our own stories. And so it was very important for me, because growing up, I absolutely loved comic books, but none of the heroes looked like me. None of the heroes came from where I come from. All of them were, and so what you have in when that happens, and in particular our children, and this is why I started with comic books, is because when our children see images of heroes that don't look like them, psychologically it's telling them that they can't be heroes. And that's an important psychological message. Franz Fanon touches on this, and he calls it restricted play. And restricted plays, basically, they can never be the hero because they don't ever get to see themselves in those heroic roles, in those heroic positions. And so ultimately, when I was, young, 7, 8 years old, running around the back garden with my towel stuffed down the back of my t-shirt, pretending to be Superman, in that moment, I am actually identifying as a white man. I'm actually in that moment, in that child's mind, he's actually identifying as that person. And so that's what he calls schizoid play, yeah, where you're actually now out of yourself. I'll give you another example of that. And I'm not sure if many of you remember Asterix the Gaul, those those books called Asterix the Gaul. I was a massive fan of those books, Asterix and Obelix fighting the Romans and so on and so forth. But what you found was the black people depicted in those comic books, all of them, if you remember, big, massive lips, bone through the nose, leopard skin boxer shorts, carrying around white people on a shield. And I distinctly remember being young, looking at that and laughing. Look at that! Not realizing that I'm actually laughing at myself. Because that's a depiction of me. Because in that moment, I'm identifying as the lead protagonist. I'm identifying as Asterix, or I'm identifying as Obelix. I'm not identifying with those black characters, those images of black characters in the book. So very, very important to understand the importance of our imagery and controlling our imagery. Another example is the music industry. In the music industry, it's controlled when it comes to the business side of it, when it comes to the money machines, the distribution companies. We've got some guys that are in the music industry in the chat right now. Musical director Luke Smith is here. He will testify to this. When you get to behind the scenes, it's predominantly, if not totally, controlled by white people. And so, excuse my language, but when the bitch hole nigger songs come out, they have no problem with this. They have no problem with this. But when Mos Def made a song called The Rape Over, and what he was speaking about in that song was, in one line, the music industry is run by a tall Israeli. And the song was taken off of the album because the people that run that want to control the image of their race, the image of their community. So if you know for a fact, if we say anything negative about Jewish people, even if it's true, you will have a Mossad agent climb up out of your bathroom sink and try and shut you down. You know, in recent years, Wiley went on to say, and what he was quoting was facts. He was telling the truth about his experiences in the music industry, and the man was completely ostracized and closed down, and what they call cancelled. You know, taken off of all of the major platforms because the people that control those platforms want to control the imagery that's seen of them. And we need to do exactly the same. It's important that we own our imagery. It's important that we have the final say on what goes out about us. And of course, there are different stories. There are different stories that are being said, and there are different stories that are being told, and there are different elements of the Black experience. And so I'm not saying, you know, let's get rid of the kidulthoods and the adulthood stories. But what I am saying is that there needs to be a balance, you know, because that's not all of our story. You know, knives, guns, stabbing and killing, it's not all of our stories. You know, many of us grew up in the church. Many of us are business people and entrepreneurs. Many of us coming from two-parent families, coming from marriages, coming from... So it's so important that we have a balanced telling of all of our experiences, in the same way that when you look at other communities, when you look at the white community, they've got Downton Abbey and they've got the Essex Boys. So they tell that side of the culture, but they also tell the other side. And so for me, setting up the production companies was trying to address those issues in the community. We're trying to address a particular... And so for me, that's the crux of entrepreneurship. It's looking at, and especially Black entrepreneurs, and understand something. Black people, we are the biggest consumers of everything. We spend more than everybody else. The spending power of the Black pound, the spending power of the Black dollar is the equivalent, I believe, the GDP of, I think it's Australia or New Zealand, one of those, an entire country.
3 trillion annually.
Was it 3 billion?
3 trillion
3
annually.
trillion. There you go. 3 trillion annually that we are spending, and the vast majority of that, I would assume probably less than 1% is actually spent within the community. So we've got the ability to do it. We've got the money. That's not the issue. We've got the money. What we need is more people like what I've seen today that are coming up with solutions to problems that are within the community. And then what we also need is the support from one another. And what we also need to do is throw away these myths and this nonsense that Black people don't support each other. It's not true. We do support each other. I'm in business. I run a Black business, and the vast majority of my customers are Black people. We do support each other, but what it is we need to make sure, and I'm coming under indictment, and I'm bringing every Black person in business under this indictment as well. Make sure that when you're doing a business, that you're professional, that you're on point, that you're not cutting corners, that you're not overpricing for a substandard product, because these are the things that if Black businesses get involved in and expect you to just support because you're Black, then this is where we run into problems. You know, this is where we run into problems. We have to, you know, with all of the productions that I put out, with the comic books and all the rest of it, I look at Marvel and I say, this is the level that I need to be competing at, because I do not want to produce something for us, by us, and it's substandard. Yeah? And so that's one of the biggest problems that we've got with your customer services. Our customer services needs to be on point. I don't want to have to stand outside the yard food shop and psych myself up before I go in there and order a patty. I don't want to be outside. Give me a patty. No, that went enough. Give me a patty, no. I don't want to be doing that. Yeah, I want to be able to go inside there, and I want there to be a level of professionalism. I want there to be a level of service that you're not looking at me as like, he's like me, he's one of us, he gets it. So you can be curt, you can be abrupt, you can be rude, like that. No, that's not where we want to be. We want to continue to perform with excellence. We want to continue to put our best foot forward. We want to continue to respect the legacy of our ancestors, you know, and we want to be in a situation where we can continue to do business and we can continue to build with each other. And I think one of the major things that we really need to be thinking about, and we really need to be bringing back into the community, is trust. We need to be bringing trust. We need to restore trust with one another. We need to restore these ideas of moving forward, this idea of suspicion, and a lot of these things have been supplanted into the community from people outside of the community. And the worst thing about it is, generally speaking, people that don't mean the community any good have managed to infiltrate the community with lies and the way a mistrustful agenda between each other. And I think it's so important that we need to fix that and start trusting each other, start working together, start supporting each other, and start building each other. And taking the initiative party, I think, is that the name says it all, and I think is a fantastic thing because it's technology, it's innovation that is going to move us to the next level. It's being able to reskill, being able to retrain. It's, again, very important, moving with the times. You know, I heard some fascinating, I think it was Ursula that I was talking about, people not being able to get to the barber shop and get their hair done and so they sort of solved that problem with this, and then they've created a space for people to go and cook and talk, and these are innovations. You know, these are innovations. The young lady that was speaking about, you know, healthy food and looking back on some of the older things and recreating those, reinventing those, and bringing them into the modern day. So yeah, man, if maybe you're nothing wild out the veg them, so you know, now maybe if you steam them now, yeah, but that's how we got to be moving now with the times, and we've got to be looking at, you know, vegan options, and because this is how the time is moving now. And so it's very, very important that we move with the times, that we have innovation, because as we're moving into, you know, looking at these things like blockchain technology and the crypto revolution that's coming, we can no longer afford as a community to be so far behind. Yeah, we've got people talking about going to the moon. You get what I'm trying to say to you? And we're struggling to set up a patty shop. We need to start moving with the times. We need to start being more innovative. We need to start, you know, sharing ideas, and we need to understand how we now need to be in a position to be able to compete in the wider world. With that spending power that we've got, we should be doing things like what Tesla are doing. We should be talking about going to the moon. Yeah? We should be moving forward with innovations and ideas that help us to take it to the next level, because someone put in the chat just there about legacy. That is such an important thing. What is the legacy we are going to leave behind? Because the truth of the matter is, the Windrush generation, and as much as there's been a lot in the press about the Windrush generation, but a lot of people don't understand that the Windrush generation per capita in this country, and this is a history that not a lot of the time is told, but the Windrush generation owned more property, residential, than everyone else per capita. So than their white working class counterparts, than the Jews. The Jews owned more commercial property, but the Windrush generation, they owned more residential property per capita. What happened? How did we drop the ball? What happened? These are the things we need to be looking at. And we need to understand how did they did it. They did it by pooling their resources. They did it by working together. They did it by unifying as a community and moving forward. Yeah, someone put partner. That's right. Yeah, they did these things. And so somewhere along the line, the generation after, down to us, dropped the ball. And now we have to be re-looking at that, and we have to say, as a legacy, what are we going to leave as our legacy? And so I'm excited about the innovations of what TTIP are bringing forward, the people that they're connecting, because that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be about, there's a verse in the Bible that says, iron sharpeneth iron. So when you're around other creative minds, when you're around other great networkers, people with great ideas, great stuff starts to happen. There couldn't have been a Steve Jobs without Wozniak. This is just how it is, because iron sharpeneth iron. So I think it's an amazing thing, and I think taking the initiative, a lot of us, and before I shut down, I know I only had about 15-20 minutes, but before I stop, I just want to say this. Do not let fear dictate what you do. Don't be afraid. You have to be fearless. If you've got an idea, if you've got a desire, if you've got something, you have to step out and do your thing. Do not be afraid to do it. Yeah? Because and don't let people tell you that you can't do it. Don't let people tell you can't do it, because the truth of the matter is, oftentimes people will project their own fears and insecurities onto you. You have to be bold. You have to be brave. Don't let no one age you out of this thing, tell you that you're too old for anything. No, bun that. Don't let nobody tell you you're the wrong gender, the wrong sex, rather. None of that. None of that. Be brave, be fearless, start by starting, and do by doing. Do not put yourself in a situation where you're continually saying you're going to do something, and years have gone past. Because if there's one thing that this lockdown has shown me, is that time is not waiting for anyone. Yeah? We're in March again already from that last lockdown, and everyone that I speak to, is one thing they're saying is how fast the time has moved. And so start by starting, do by doing, and remember, being an entrepreneur is identifying a problem and coming up with a viable solution. So over to you guys.
Well, Jason, that was an amazing presentation. You've touched some valid points there. And I think a lot of people agree from looking at the chat, that was a fantastic presentation. I can't think of anything that you didn't explain in detail. So we're going to open up for the Q&A. Now. So if anybody had any questions they wanted to ask Jason, if you raise your hand, I've got a few, but I'm going to wait for other people to get at you first. So if you can raise your hands for Jason, please. Carlos, is that hand still up, or? Neil, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Nelly,
sorry, darling.
Nelly. Jason, unbelievable presentation. Thank you so much for that. The information regarding Windrush generation being homeowners, where's that? Where's that information? That's unbelievable.
So I happen to be. Can you hear me?
Put the microphone back closer.
I can.
Oh, you can?
I can. Yeah, I can.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I can.
So I'm fortunate enough to be a student of the master teacher himself, Robin Walker, and I spent. I'm continually learning with him, and so this is some of the information that he gave out. I have. I think it's in one of his books. The title slips me, but I can get that information to you so you can have a look at that. But yeah, Robin Walker is my master teacher, so a lot of the information that I gained from his classes. But that was one of the things that we touched on in one of the classes that we took with him. And same as you, it kind of blew my mind You know, when you know, and the breakdown as well that per capita that we were bigger homeowners than even the Jews residential. They were more commercial, but we were bigger residential. And you just think, where is all that gone? Because those properties now, in places like Relton Road in Brixton and stuff, it'd be crazy not until those type of areas, we own property there and slowly but surely we've lost it and it's been gentrified. And so the ball has been dropped somewhere along the line. And my thing is, listen, we're not going to cry over that. Let's pick it back up and let's start moving again.
I know that it was from around the time when Margaret Thatcher made some housing. She did something with council housing. Around that time, a lot of Black people took advantage of the policies that she put in place and became homeowners. Alan, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hi, good evening. Good evening to the panel. Good evening to everyone tonight. Good evening, Sash. You're doing a really good job tonight as well.
Gosh.
Jason, that was amazing talk. I mean, you picked up a lot of things that, has already been in my mind and probably a lot of people's minds about the misdirection of the media with how a lot of things pan out. So it's really interesting, and thank you for putting those things forward, man. I think, and now they're actually down, so people will see this even later on when they come back to this Zoom, and they really need to listen to what you said there. That's just wakes us up, doesn't it? Really, to actually getting involved and doing some action, because our economy is terrible, and we are too much, like you say, consumers, and not enough people selling the product. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome, my brother. And yeah, you're right. The misdirection of the media. And
put your microphone back.
You got it?
Put your microphone back closer.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, my brother. I think that the misdirection of the media is one of the greatest weapons against us. And what we now have, which is becoming a great equalizer, is the power of social media. And being able to use that in a positive way. And that's the problem. It's the using it in a positive way. Because our mobile phone has given us the ability to have either the biggest distraction or the most powerful tool. And it's just depending on how we use it. Yeah? And so, but the great media weapon that they've kind of used against us over the years has been a massive problem. But things like social media has now kind of not leveled the playing field, far from leveled the playing field, but it gives us now a step in, and from there to kind of push up. I mean, it's a sad commentary that things like The Voice and The New Nation are pretty much non-existent now in the community, and it's little things like that when we need to historically, one of the powerful things that the Nation of Islam had was the Messenger. It was called The Final Call at one point, and I think they changed the name of the paper to The Messenger, which was their newspaper. It was the ability to write the stories and then get that out on the street corners. You'd see the brothers out there, and they're shutting the newspaper. It's going out there, give us a donation. But that was a way of controlling the narrative so that you can tell the stories about yourself. Because if you allow someone else to tell the stories about you, you're always going to be in trouble. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think as well is we're waking up to it now, and we're starting to see it more and more and more. And we're starting, I think this whole Piers Morgan on Meghan Markle is such, you sort of sit there and you sit there and you think, can't everyone in the country see this?
It's not only can everyone not see it. They've got bigger fish to fry, like the paedophilia that runs through the royal blood.
But yeah, so very, very much, my brother, us understanding, and like I say, it starts from little things like comic books, it starts from cartoons, and all of these small things. And can I just say a quick thing as well? It's very important that we monitor what our children are watching, what they're reading, and what they're listening to. Because the way that adults receive information and the way that children receive the same information is two completely different things. For example, I don't know if many of you remember a TV show called Starsky and Hutch. You do? Right, all right. So, so in Starsky and Hutch, you had a character called Huggy Bear. And Huggy Bear was basically a pimp and an informant. He was a pimp and a police informant. And he used to wear all the fly clothes and the shoes and all the rest of it. And I used to sit and watch that as a child. And I used to think, man, this guy's so cool. He's so fly. He's just, I love it. Oh, man, I want to be just like Huggy Bear. And it was only one of my older cousins, Nigel, who was just saying, you don't want to be like him. He's a pimp. And he's jive talking. He's a jive talking pimp. And he's an informant. And me as a kid, I'm not understanding that. So it's very, very important that we monitor what our children are actually absorbing because of their young minds. I'll give you another example of that. One of my own examples. I was watching the news, and they were doing that white savior thing. So watching the news, I think it's the Channel 4 news, and Prince Harry was in. I think it's Prince William or Prince Harry. One of the two of them was in Africa. I think they were in Lesotho, and they were showing all of this poverty, and Prince Harry was kicking around the football with these African children and talking about the foundation and the great stuff that he's gonna do in his village. And I saw my young son at the time, he's probably about 6 years old at the time, watching it, and he was smiling. And I looked at him and I said, son, the bit that they're not telling you is that oftentimes the reason that these people are in that situation is because of people like him. So, for example, you have this guy selling his sandwiches in the middle of Baghdad, and then America comes and bombs the village, and they bomb his sandwich shop. And 6 weeks later, everyone's starving because sandwich shop guy's been bombed, and American soldiers land, and guess what they're doing? They're giving out sandwiches. And everyone says, thank God they came with their sandwiches. But no one is taking the fact that they're the ones that blew up our sandwich shop in the first place. And so oftentimes, when we're seeing these images, a lot of the time we're missing the minutiae, and especially our children, and we're just assuming that the kids are getting it because we get it. And so it's very, very important, even things like the news, monitor what your children are watching, monitor what they're reading, and understand that kids are not receiving information in the same, as my uncle would say, big man's reasoning is not the same as picnic reasoning.
Exactly. So I'm going to bring Carlos in. Carlos, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, bro. Thanks for hanging in there.
Hi, Jason.
Hello, my brother.
You're telling the story of my life. I'm an actor since I was 9 years. I'm 42 now, and I work in the Portuguese-speaking countries. We are 240 Black actors, which the majority of them did the same role for years. At least I lived in Portugal for 20 years. And all the roles that we had there was to demonize our community. Okay? That's why I moved to the UK. There's racism here. But you can do whatever you want to do in the UK, not in Portugal. I have friends. One is a cardiologist. He never worked in this profession. The Portuguese government pay a scholarship for him. The guy is high notes. Never found a job as cardiologist in Portugal. Always in construction, which in the UK they have respect for builders, not in Portugal. And now he's a cardiologist chief in a hospital in Germany. So you are telling the story of my life. I'm starting my life for the third time in the UK. Yeah, and PTI for me is historic because there was never a political party built by people like us, people that love the diversity and inclusion, and it's giving us this opportunity. You are a film director. I represent the on-demand film platform, down level, different than Netflix, but it's a streaming platform for films. It's called Tellus. And I'm connected to a platform of intellectual property. I invite my colleague; he's there as well. Exactly to see if we can support each other. In Angola, when you talked about we believe in and buying their stories, in Angola where I come from, you don't see any woman with her hair, natural hair, because we believe that our hair is not good. Exactly. So it's very important that we start telling our story according to our point of view, because the colonizers, they tell our story according to their point of view. I studied my primary school in a Portuguese school. They call me white boy because of my Portuguese. For example, in everything I read, everything I learned about myself as an Angolan was written by Portuguese. Doesn't make sense.
That's right.
So I'm a friend of the diversity. I don't like racism from one another. I'm a humanist. My wife is white. I got 3 kids, mixed blood. And all I want to do, I'm not working for other people. I'm working for my people. I want to be in films that tell things that brings an impact in my community. So yeah, thank you for your presentation. It's amazing. Sasha is a woman. I'm gonna use a word. My English is not perfect. She's got balls. Yeah, because in my country they'll kill you. I'm a political activist as well, and these people think about us exhaustively for many years. And that communication is the fourth power in any society. We have to build our own way to start communicating and bringing out our stories. When I talk with my kids about what's going on all over the world, why Africa is poor? Africa is not poor; is rich. My president is there for 39 years. He's not from Angola, for example. He stole the country and moved to Spain. They steal Africa to invest in Europe. So we're going to have to change it starting from Europe and America.
Facts.
And cinema, films can be used like a big weapon against.
Bell Hooks said it best. Bell Hooks and Vanessa Andriotti said it best. It creates a global imaginary.
So, this is what I wanted to say, guys. I've been away. I've been doing some extra jobs. During the night, I missed like 3 meetings. And I'm glad I can take this one. Anyways, I would like to have anybody who is involved in this industry, films or intellectual property, very important, guys. We have a lot of arts in the National Museum, African art that was stolen, and it's not back.
Just to alert everybody, just to alert you all, we've been infiltrated. If you do see any half-naked people on your screen, do not give them your energy as we refuse to pay them any attention. Let's concentrate on why we're here while I get rid of these intruders.
Yeah. So, guys, we are running this platform, intellectual property. Our art, our music, doesn't belong to us. Michael Jackson is dead. He's giving $2 million 6 by 6 months royalties to his family. Yeah? With all due respect for everybody, this world is a beautiful world because we are good people. We make music and art, and the world is beautiful. But we're not controlling this money. The money is in the hands of the industry, of a lot of bad people.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm going to ask Annette to unmute herself. And brothers, I love to hear the conversation here. It's beautiful to hear our people come together and talk this way.
Thanks. Jason, I need your contact, please.
Yes, I'm going to leave all my contact details in the chat, so I'll definitely do that, my brother. And thank you for your words, man. Powerful. Thank you so much.
Annette?
Hiya. My question is to Jason. Jason, I'm very new to the platform. I have identified the problem and I came up with a solution. and I really need the support. So I want to find out how you could support me and get me up.
Wow. Okay. So I remember your pitch was food, right?
Yes, and beauty.
Oh, and beauty. Oh, would you was so you started your business during the last lockdown. That's what you said. So you identified the problem. So what are you doing with regards to marketing? Because I find that one of the biggest problems with a lot of startups is our marketing. So we've got the greatest idea in the world, but we don't let anyone know about it. And I think that that is probably a lot of the time where we kind of fall down. Is there's no point in having a fantastic idea if no one knows about it. And I'm not just talking about family and friends, because that only goes so far, with family and friends, but being able to actually look at it from a business perspective and have your marketing budget included in that. So first and foremostly, do you have a business plan? Did you have a business plan? Have you structured it in that way, or is it just, yeah, I do our thing?
I'm working on a business plan at the minute. I have my logos. I'm with the BME group. I'm networking a lot as well. But it's all in the process.
Okay. And so when you say, so what is it that you think that you actually need? What is it that you have identified that you actually need to kind of step your game up, so to speak?
When you know exactly what you want. I know exactly what I want. I know that there's a market for what I want. But just to get my feet on the ground, because I'm a great talker. I see the need for what I'm selling, but sometimes just having that push. So you sound like a great motivator. I don't know if that's what you do, but I was quite driven by you just talking. So I was thinking maybe you could steer me in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We can. I mean, outside of this platform, we can have a conversation. I generally, I do motivational speaking and so on and so forth. And sometimes just having someone to kind of bounce your ideas off of and kind of giving you that energy, that boost, getting you gassed, getting you ready. Because even when you're saying, I'm listening to you and you're saying, yeah, I know what I want. It's never what I want. It's what I'm going to get. Because when you start saying what you want, you will continue to want it. Does that make sense? You're just creating an energy of want. It's not what you want. It's what you're going to get. Yeah. And so,
honest, I'm having great results at the minute. I'm having loads of results. Even just as you say, it's not just your family and friends, but whatever you start, you always start with your family and friends. And so far, I've exhausted my family and friends. So now I see the need to just branch.
Start a yard before you dance abroad.
Well, yeah, I mean, you put your information in there. I saw the, something, my job, right? That was you. Yeah. So I'm gonna have my information will be there, email, so on and so forth. So we can definitely communicate outside of here, and you can bounce ideas off me, and we can definitely reason. And yeah, man, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
It's a great platform. It's my first time. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Come back and bring many more with you.
More.
Teresa, and then Brian.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hi. Jason, that was Les Brown level. Well done. That's excellent, excellent. I mentioned my product, the Take 3 Chefs creation project that we, as 5 Black people, has created. We collaborate. We're pioneers. And the second phase of our project is about how do we reach the unreachable teenagers that have had a 12 months of mind damage. They've been sitting at home playing games. Now I do a lot of public speaking about the microbiome and the brain and understanding what digital dementia is and what they've allowed to be created. That's a part of the project. We do the vegan, the vegetarian, the cultural, and all of that, which is brilliant. And we also do the physical movement to make sure that people are not just eating, but they're also moving. We have a whole holistic well-being package. But the group of people that I want to add to is the ones that have been totally become addicts. Now, a lot of people won't talk about this yet because they haven't come out of the home and shown the problems. But the problems are there. The parents are having the problems right now, and it's going to spill out in the schools, it's going to spill out on the high streets, and people are going to start to notice there's going to be a remarkable change in a child, a young person's behavior, because the pathways in the brain that this lockdown has created awareness of is way too early. We wouldn't have had addicts at such a young age ever in history. So what I'm trying to find is a group, like a mindset group of not practitioners, but people who are amazing in what they do, business, art, drama, cooking, whatever, all different sectors, because all personalities will require different approaches. And we come together and we tackle that problem because we are as strong as our weakest link. Now, a lot of people are praising the great work, and I am as well, but I know I've spoken to parents, I've seen many things, and what we're going to have is a generation of children who are going to be in serious trouble. And I want to kind of start the process as phase 2, as a part of our Take 3 Chefs project, to be able to now start to galvanize those talents, not for fame and glory, but for wisdom, and how we can reach into that group of people and start to build some kind of collaboration, how we can help. So I'm reaching out to the group. I work with TTI and Amina and Michael and Darren. I know I spend a lot of time with TTI, but this is a urgent problem, and I want to sit down with a group of people and do some thinking about how we can use our great talents and help. I get people phoning me saying, have you got a shaman? That's one solution, but some people don't respond to that. They may respond to video games, but we need people who are interested, who have added value character. So my information is in the chat, and I'll put my number in, my email, my personal one, because I really want to start looking at that. We want to talk to them about how they can get back into the workforce, because they're not going to get work. Work is done. And how we can skill them, but we have to get through to the personalities and the characteristics and this addiction that they've been exposed to, and these pathways that they've forged inside of our children, unbeknownst to the family who bought them a PlayStation, who bought them a phone. This is a really big problem that's going to come to us very, very soon.
I think the idea to create a think tank. Your idea to create a think tank to tackle this issue is amazing, and I think really necessary. And I think I concur when you say that it's a problem that we have not seen, we've not reaped the harvest of yet, because there was a study done that's showing that social media is actually helping to rewire the pathways in the brain. We are experiencing and taking in information differently because of social media, because of the exposing to things like pornography and so on and so forth. Is actually rewiring the human brain, and it was quite fascinating to me reading that. So what you're saying about the video gaming situation is absolutely true. I am not a gamer, and so I know that some people do this whole video gaming thing. I don't get it, because I've got a kind of spatial thing that if I play those games, it makes me actually feel sick. So I've never really been into gaming, and I know a lot of people do it. I've got brothers that do it and stuff. They're into it, and then you've got those that are addicted, those that seem to not be able to even function properly in the real world. So I think you're right. I think it is definitely a massive, massive problem, and it's something that I don't think is. It's like different kinds of addiction seem to get different attention. So things like drug abuse and alcohol abuse, because there's a physical side effect and we can actually see it. Yeah, we focus on it a lot more. And then things like gambling, a gambler will walk around in his suit and all the rest of it, and you don't know that this guy is in bad trouble. And we don't seem to focus on it as much. And I think this this digital addiction, this kind of addiction to computer games and digital stimuli is gonna be a massive problem. And I think what you're discussing here, what you're talking about, is community, because we have to have people within our community that are looking at different issues that face the community. So some people are going to be looking at things like drug and alcohol addiction. Other people are going to be looking at financial literacy. Other people are going to be looking at education. But we need different people in different areas, experts in different areas, looking at different things for the wholeness of the community. There's a book by Naim Akbar called The Community of Self. And, to kind of, one of my favorite writers, Naim Akbar, and he talks about how an individual can work properly. In European psychology, it's the id, the ego, and the superego. That was Sigmund Freud's kind of thing. But Naim Akbar breaks it down into 9 different categories from going from an African perspective. And what he basically is saying is, what he says in the book is basically, when you have mental illness, when all the members of the self, the community of self, when all of them are not in harmony. So whether it's emotional stress, whether it's anger issues, but there's a lack of harmony within the community of self. And so we have that in the broader community. And so what we need is experts. We need experts in different areas, and no problem must be seen or belittled. And the initial thing that you said about getting together a think tank is exactly where we need to start. We start with ideas. We start with looking at the problems and then ideas. And that pool of the mind is where we come up with those solutions. So I think it is a really, really fantastic idea. I don't know much about it because I'm not a gamer, but I have teenage children, and
it's a real thing.
The effect, exactly that. Where
I can teach you about it. I've been studying it for 10 years, and I've been warning people on radio shows. I was like the crier, the town crier 10 years ago, explaining to people, because I understand addiction, because I've seen it and what happens. And we also have the post-traumatic slave syndrome. We have epigenetics, so the environment triggers all of these things that are inside of us. And what they've cleverly done is given us an environment that is going to trigger and has triggered, and people are not aware of epigenetics. The other side of it is that I have a recreation professor in Trinidad who wanted to create a database, like a website, something very simple. Loads of wealthy people said to her, "Yeah, brilliant, come and tell me your idea." And the minute she told them, they said no. They weren't willing to put money into it. So the reason why I'm shouting it out now is because if we do not put money into it, they're not going to. But no matter how clever one or two families are, we're still going to be as strong as the weakest link, because they're going to come and meet our children. And the legacy thing, I put the legacy thing in, this is about us now recognizing that we're, all this talent, great, but how do we make sure that we can access it in a concise way and that everybody can get it? If we don't come together, we have little pockets of success, and then we still get taken out. So I'll put my number in, but what I'm really looking for is creating a mindset where we can say, okay, I'm going to come and add my bit to this to make sure this happens. And we can talk and we can share across all the sciences and all the practitioners and practical things that we can do. But it's got to be a core thing, because people are everywhere and they're suffering. And I tell you, when this school opens, we're going to see digital dementia is a whole thing, but we're going to see what's happening. And then on top of that, the stresses that the parents are having working from home. This is a perfect sandwich of chaos, not just mental illness, but absolute chaos.
Teresa, do you work with children who have been excluded from school?
I work across many different sciences. I'm a eclectic kind of person. So I work with people who come to me who say that their children are struggling. I also work with projects. I also do digital, the augmented reality that's coming. Oh my gosh, If we know what's coming, you won't even want to leave your house. You will be in front of that screen forever, the rest of your life. So I work with many people, it's very holistic. And so it's not about one thing. I've never been a person that studies one thing. I study across everything, science, physics, chemistry, biology, everything, because that's what we need. And that's what our people used to know. We don't want one solution. We want all of the solutions.
A share, Queen. Brian, you've been waiting forever and ever. If you can unmute yourself.
I'd like to say I'm about action. That's all I'm about. I've never seen, I'm 56, just turned 56, and I've never seen in this country Black people coming together. I call myself a Black conscious militant person. I'm not racist. No,
you just love your race. There's no problem with loving your race.
Thank you very much. People don't understand that. So I'm very, very militant. But I'm about our culture coming together. I've been trying to ask people who are talented, who are Black, to come together for years, and no one's listened to me. So what I did, as my own people are not listening to me, I've gone to the Asians, I've gone to the whites. The whites and Asians have done more for me than my own culture, because I was brought up, and there's a lot of Jamaicans, I don't know if was brought up like this, but I didn't believe it, obviously. Never worked for a Black man than 2 teeth, yeah? So I was brought up like that. I never believed in it. My cousins in America, they're lawyers, and in Jamaica, deal with governments and things like that. They're quite prominent. Got a sister over here. She's now a psychotherapist, but she was one of the first black people in this country to have a professional recruitment company in the city. So my thing has always been about, being around business people and family and things. I'm not a business person, but I'm a networker. I've been in the music game, dealt with people like Ahmed Artigan, who's founded Atlantic Records. I don't know if you know about them. David Williams has been behind Michael Jackson, Madonna, and people like that. So I'm a networker. I can get into big people. I've always had that ability. But my problem is with our own in this country, in London, well, sorry, in England, but I'd say London because London is the capital. I've seen people like P. Diddy come over in the music business in the old times, and everyone's sort of like saying, yeah, can you help us from America? America's America, and he said it to us. You need to find your own thing in your own country, in this country, in London, all right? And now they're starting to do a few things in the music business for British music, all right? But one thing I've never seen us do is come together. My main problem is come together and let's work together, you know what I mean, as a team. Because I believe that there should be a network where it's basically you have a few people who can do various things. So like if, say, what's her name again? Reza, or some other people was talking just a while ago who wanted something done. If it's marketing, someone comes in who's an expert in marketing and helps her for free. Someone comes in and she wants something else, accountant, a bit of accountant, help her with her business for free. To get a business to get off the ground. And then when she starts making money, all right, then she can put it back within that system, yeah? And the only way you're going to do that is trust. And if you don't do that, come together like that, come get a team together who are talented, all right, and make things happen for our own people individually. People can't do certain things. It's not going to happen. I've seen it for years. Black people don't trust each other.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the thing is, I want us all to come together. Actually, have trust. I know it's a fearful thing, but I look at fear as false evidence of actual reality. All right. When you actually do it, it's totally different from what you was thinking in the first place. All right, so people like Jason, I've heard something what no man has ever said in my 56 years. He said a particular sentence, but I can't remember it now. So I was thinking to myself, wow, that's different. All right, I've never heard a black person say things like that. Then I've never heard someone like Teresa, from a black perspective, come across with what she's talking about. So I'm very much a militant of getting people together, really creative people, and making things work. I can get to anyone. That's my natural ability. I'm a natural networker. All right, you can exploit me. All right, because I can get to anyone. I've always had that ability. So that's all I'm going to say to you.
Better get emailing Teresa and getting your name on that thing. Thanks. Get over there. But thank you so much, Brian. I'm going to ask IBI Gambia to unmute.
Hi, greetings again, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Brother Jason, for the presentation. Insightful. I was more touched by Sister Teresa, and I will start by saying that the divine powers that lies within the African melanated, black, you name it, woman, man, if tapped into, we have no challenge and there shouldn't be any fear. And what you call in for, or what you call in to resurrect and to transform the young mind that is to be or had been in the verge or on the road to destruction, we cannot allow. And so we will participate in helping create the opportunities that is already there so we can help in getting them to tap into their powers, the powers that is lying so dormant, that has been manipulated. And we can use all the tools that are available, all of them springing out from one source, and that source is the spirit, the spiritual source. And so we can use technology to create programs that will support exactly how we want to help transform their faculties, their neural pathways be rewired through the same games that they are creating. Because it's all about tapping into the same mechanics of the energy that is out there to create the apps that they're using, the games that they're using, only to do a different and achieve a different result, which we will create.
China does it.
Right? And so epigenetics, it's not new. It is your ancestral knowledge. It's already there, had been always. Why it is not tapped into is because it is actually the most studied subject that has been the most hidden studied subject. Because when you talk about melanin, when you talk about epigenetics, right? And melanin is the most studied subject, yet the most hidden. Now, I happen to also work in the civil service sector, or I was representing the ethnic black minority in Leicester City Strategic Partnership Board. And this board was responsible for, making decisions on the planning of the city or the region or the county. Excuse me. But I was also working as a policy and development manager for African Caribbean Citizens Forum in Leicester. So I have the background of being born in Africa, grew up till after the age of 18, and then I'm 46 now. I had the opportunity to be engaged with a Caribbean family as family, like a wife and children. And so I have a little bit of an understanding of the two sides of the coin in view of how we are already dominated. And so we also, knowing the challenges, meant or means that we can have a greater force of solution. And we do not have, it doesn't have to be time, it doesn't have to take time. It's in a blinking of an eye that we can transform that which we want to transform. And those young blessed beings cannot be left dormant and be destroyed. This is their agenda. They've worked on it. It impacted our ancestors, and we have responsibility not to let it impact those that we bear and brought through this land. And so I give thanks for the opportunity. I am offering my services. I am not a labeled individual because, yes, like yourself, I am not confined within the norms of 3 degrees, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. No. I have done the system in that way, but I am a divine being. I am on a journey of seeking the truth. What I have already gathered, I have used, and I have wisdom with that. I am 100% comfortable to share that. But that which I am yet to know, I'm open up to learn. And give thanks for the opportunity. My email address will be there. I will look forward to getting your details, and anyhow I can support in that direction, or any other person in any way, shape, or form. Because I think where I wanted to even start with was the solution is to treat the soul. And what does treating the soul means is basically going back inward and know the power within this temple, that you are a channel through which all is manifested. And to inject that into a young person, you need to create the environment we're talking about before they go to school. These gadgets they're using, all of the radiations they have, it's impacting them, but also they are victims of it. So how do we help transmute these negative energies through certain other elements like crystals, like burning down your house, like white lighting, like certain technologies that are within you that are simple and priceless. And through the constant usage of that, you can help the child regain energy. Whilst they're sitting there, they're actually so dormant, so dormant. The children of this generation have so much energy, and they were known before they came. So there had been a lot of work done to suppress that energy. And so it is they can only suppress it, by the way. They can never destroy it. It is our responsibility to help in all aspects, in the offices that we work in, at home, the kitchen, every single part of our environment can be protected, can be cleansed from all these negative transmutations of electricity, electromagnetic, radiations, you name it. So yes, I am down for that, and I'm open to give my ultimate energy in a loving and compassionate way, and any other way I think you can help. We can help, and I think the approach has to be holistic. Once that's holistic, you can the brother was talking about people are going to the moon. Yes, we are going to the moon. We've been in the moon all the time, but how do we connect that physically now and bring that home? Because it's like a new thing to those who are just seeing it now, but this is our place. We go to the moon and come back every day. So we can change that and bring it into a technological form, like Ghana is trying to do the same, going to Mars and all of that. But that is not the challenge. The challenge is this particular universe. Co-create your universe in a way that you will not see anything that you will admire or be threatened by, irrespective wherever you are.
Thank
so thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Ashay to you, King. Thank you. Jason, is there anything, because I'm aware of the time, is there anything that you would like to say, any last words to wrap up?
Listen, we've just had some fantastic conversations. We've had some fantastic contributions, and I'm impressed, and I'm very passionate about the connectivity between us all. You know, as great minds, and knowing where we are and what we're doing and where we're moving. One of the gentlemen earlier spoke about, you know, us reaching out to the Americans and stuff. And we're now building our own thing, our own cultural identity, and we're kind of moving forward. And for a very long time, that was the case, simply because in this country, we are about probably 2 million, if that, in a country of...
Unmute, Jason.
Outside of that, we've got, my apologies. Outside of that, America, about probably 85 million blacks in America. And so when you've got 2 million, you're an ethnic group. You're not a nation. Whereas when you've got 85 million, you're a nation. And so for a very long time, we've kind of reached towards them. But now we're kind of coming into our own. And so we have to recognize our power and the fact that ultimately it is going to be through unity. It's the only way that we're going to be able to do it. So these are the building blocks. These are the conversations. These are the rooms that we need to be in with each other, bouncing ideas off of each other, talking about great stuff, feeding each other's minds. Like I said earlier, iron sharpeneth iron, and so we need to be around like-minded people. And I think that the hub of Taking the Initiative Party is especially there for that. Someone's put in the chat, unity is strength. Absolute fact. And so that's where we need to be. Outside of that, my contact information, I put it in the chat there. My email address is cagefighteruk@gmail.com. An old email address from another life.
I know, I was going to say, have you been cage fighting, Jason?
I used a very long time ago. That was a profession of mine. So cagefighteruk@gmail.com. Obviously, Heru Comics, so www.herucomics.com, HERU, Heru Comics, all one word.com. And we're on a mission at the moment to sell 1 million books this year. That's the mission. That's what we are going to do. Thoughts become things, and so you need to set your goals. I think it is actually, someone mentioned Les Brown earlier, and I think it's Les Brown that said one of the saddest things in life isn't that you set your goals high and miss, is you set them too low and hit. And so you always have to challenge yourself, and you need to challenge yourself to strive for greatness, yeah? And so we have set ourselves, we're not dealing with the thousands now, 1 million books we're looking to sell this year. And so obviously we would love your support and your investment in that. Gifts for friends, gifts for children, gifts for yourself. So check us out, www.herucomics.com, and use the discount code BLACKOWNED. Yeah, use the discount code BLACKOWNED.
Can you put that in the chat so people
I most certainly will. I most certainly will.
Information in the chat there so I can use that discount code.
I most certainly will. But yeah, so in closing, I just want to say, people, keep the faith, believe in yourself, believe in each other, and it doesn't matter, man. We are going to win. Facts, yeah. With all what they have done, we're still here.
Yes.
You get it? With all what they have, with all what's happened, we're still here. And so the fact is, we are going to win. The planets are aligned, and we are going to win. There's a reawakening of our spiritual selves. There's a reawakening of us in the physical aspect of that. So we are seeing the trappings of success. And so continually, I will say, keep the faith. There's going to be times where you're just feeling down. You don't want to continue. You don't want to. But listen, that's the time to stick in and stick at it, because, as they say, Tough times don't last, only tough people. All right. So it's your boy Jason Barrett signing out. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate and love all of you.
On behalf of TTIP, we'd like to say thank you to King. Thank you to all the kings that participated and offered their services tonight. And thank you to all the queens that participated. I'm not only proud to be a Black person, but I'm unapologetically Black. So with that being said, I'm going to also share screen with you for you to see a bit of Les Brown, as we've been talking a lot about him. Put your thumb up if you could hear the... Let me just share that and start that off for you. You hear?
It's a bit slow and there's no sound at the moment.
Can you not hear it?
No.
1 second.
And fighting constantly to look for ways in which you can escape the inner conversation between ages 0 and 5. We determine what's available to us and what's not available to us. And so that was a defining moment. I knew there are certain things I could not do, certain places I could not go. They used to have signs on Miami Beach that said Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. And so now you have to operate within the constraints of the dominant society and the things that they've created for you. And it's a challenge to see yourself beyond that and to work to get outside of that, even after those laws have changed, because that has become so much a part of you. You unconsciously operate within the parameters of what has been put in place. Like you're driving on the expressway, the 405, and you'll get off on an exit that you weren't going in that direction, but you unconsciously did it because you've done it so many times that many people, because they're not making...
I don't know what's happening to Mr. Les Brown, but you can all go on YouTube and find...
Making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to think outside of what life has thrown at them, they end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so through relationships, through reading, through studies, through goals and dreams beyond your comfort zone, it allows you to begin to live out of your imagination as opposed to out of your history. Disney said, the imagination is a preview of what's to come. They have to expose themselves to something that will give them a different vision of themselves. And in addition to that, they have to put themselves in a community of what I call OQP, only quality people. A gentleman who dramatically transformed my life. I was a junior at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida, and I went in his class looking for another friend, and he said, go to the board and work this problem out for me. I said, sir, I can't do that. He said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, do it anyhow. And the other kids started laughing, saying, he's Leslie, he's DT. And he said, what's DT? His brother is smart, but he's the dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he pointed at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he taught me 3 things. He said, if you want to become successful in life, young man, he said, number 1, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number 2, practice OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. I found that out. I left all my broke friends. I said, y'all got to go. Because I used to be so broke, I passed the bank and tripped the alarm, you know? And the third thing he said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. He said those are 3 major things that you want to work on that will liberate you from living in Liberty City, living in poverty in Overtown. It will help to escape out of where you are right now, because I see you watching me and I know you want more. I can see the hunger in your eyes. You get hungry by finding something that's you. I believe that all of us are born unique, but most of us die copies. You got to find out what is it that turns you on, what resonates with you. One of the things that I realized and what allowed me to become successful as a speaker, the speaking industry has been hijacked by people who speak to sell, and it's okay to do that and make money. I speak to change lives because somebody spoke and changed my life. So this is my passion. This is my drive. This is something that I feel in my heart. And so the key to that hunger-driven life is a heart-centered life. I didn't do what I'm doing for years because of my programming, because of the culture in which I was raised in. I would see other people with degrees and PhDs and MBAs and credentials I don't have, and I convinced myself I couldn't do it. But Mr. Washington, on that day, we became friends, and he taught me not only someone's opinion of you does not have to determine your reality. He said that you have to work on yourself and you have to have an unstoppable attitude, and no excuse is acceptable, and you got to make it a priority, a non-negotiable in your life, and hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve. See it accomplished and go all out. Find a way to win. In spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures. I tell people when I'm giving presentations, you will fail your way to success. I have a saying is life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And so those experiences of going after goals that's beyond your comfort zone, and having relationships that will challenge you, and surrounding yourself with coaches and mentors who can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself, because you can't read the label when you're locked in the box. And so those experiences, they challenge you to go to that next level and continue to move forward in your life, doing new and exciting things that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you when you live a heart-centered life, deciding that you're going to live a life that will outlive you. You're going to live a life that counts, a life that will build a legacy and change the planet. You know, Horace Mann said, we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And so my goal is to make a major contribution to humankind. Every day when I get up, my mindset is, what is it that I can do to touch and impact somebody's life today? What is it? What does that look like? Don't live the life that has been given you by their circumstances, by the people that's around you. That Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. And he said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens without being spoken. He said, either you adjust to their pace or they adjust to your pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? And so there are things that we pick up and we think that they're our choices, but they're the choices that we've been programmed by life to do. When we leave our homes in the morning, we're bombarded with over 6,000 advertising hits through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram, through television, through our phones, and through our communities, and through the computers. And so all of these things are impacting us every day. So if you don't have a program for your mind, then your mind is going to be programmed, and you'll find yourself doing things that you did not know, and that they affected you, that they, through marketing techniques and strategies, that they will create a thirst within you. I came up in an era that said if you built the best mousetrap, the world will be the path to your door. But if you know marketing, people will sleep outside your store to buy a telephone they've never touched or seen.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Let me just make sure that doesn't. I've noticed that 3 people signed up since we've been on the chat. I would like to say thank you to those people. And we're definitely appreciating that sign up. So I'm just trying to get back to the screen. Like we said, lack of participation equals lack of outcome. And I will continue to say this. We don't question others when they create a pathway. TTIP is a vehicle for our community. It is something that we need to use and utilize to the best. We've got a unique opportunity. A pandemic has come about and we've paused and we've reawakened and we're recharged, and we should take advantage of that. So please, if you've not headed over to our website and signed up to be a member, please go ahead and do so. We send out a welcome package. Also, if you would like us to help you promote any of the things that you've pitched tonight, do send an email to Amina. I'm sure you saw her email address earlier. Amina, could you present your email address in the chat again? Do get in touch if we could help in any way in helping you to engage with the community. At the moment, our main focus is Croydon, but we are able to work outside of that area, anywhere the need is in our community. Jason, well done, King. Continue the great work that you do. All of you, Teresa and everybody, Ursula, everybody, continue all the great work that you've all been doing. It is great to see the Black man and woman take charge of their future and show that we are intellectually capable to take on our oppression and to find solutions and no longer be stuck in the problem and no longer perpetuate in the problem. We need to break that cycle. We need to break these generational curses that has held our people down for far too long. And we do. TTIP is open to working to everybody. It's not just Black people, but we do focus on the problems in our community. And like I said, lack of contribution is lack of outcome. So please, everyone, do get in touch and do let us know how we can help you. I'm going to play a song so we can all empty the room, but I'm going to unmute you also. Anybody that would like to say bye, say bye. And like I said, we're not scared of those infiltrations because it just means that we are doing something right. We have exciting news that we'll hopefully be able to give you by the next Zoom. Fingers crossed. So keep in tune, keep in touch. I'm going to give you each a challenge because my challenge is to get used to this Zoom. So I'm going to leave you all with the challenge as well. Bring at least one person the next time you come. Bring another ear with yourself. This is how we're going to grow the vehicle. We're going to strengthen the vehicle, and we're going to plow it through every door of oppression that's ever held us. Thank you all very much. And Ashe, have a very good evening to you all. I've unmuted you all, and I'll go play you a song.
Thank you, sis, for an outstanding evening. Blessings, much love and appreciation.